Have you ever wondered what it's like to run a small business? Have you thought about starting your own? Or have you already started one and looking for somebody on a similar journey? From juggling multiple tasks to dealing with the ups and downs, learning everything from scratch and working around the clock, no 2 weeks are ever the same. In this video, I'll be focusing on a small indoor plant business, but a lot of the things I talk about will be universal for all small businesses. The first thing I do every single Monday morning is post the orders from the previous week. I think the customers love to see an update on their tracking to know that the wheels are in motion and their delivery is on their way to them. So let's go do that right now. Ew. How good is it when you get to park directly at the front of the post office? My fave. Be right back. I'm pretty sure it's illegal to drive while filming yourself. What am I saying? I should also mention that this is going to be a vlog type video, so get ready for a lot of amateur style angles, a lot of camera falling, all of that sort of stuff. I don't really know what I'm doing. Also filming while driving. Not smart, so I'm not going to do it. So, see you soon. So I started a business while I was working a part-time job. So I had that grace period of trying to figure out how to start it and get it off the ground while also still having an income. And I also got to learn at my own pace rather than feeling pressured to get it all done so I could start making money immediately. Because nobody tells you all of the intricate details that need to be done prior to getting a business up and running and off the ground. There isn't necessarily a how-to guide. It's different for all types of businesses and what you want to achieve. But I'll get into all the things they don't tell you another day this week. Right now, I want to focus on a schedule. In my opinion, one of the best things that I did was set a schedule for myself. Prior to quitting my day job, I was sort of just going into it blind and just picking on the day what I wanted to do. Hindsight, looking back, I was choosing to do all of the things I enjoyed doing a little bit more than the crappy things. And that's no way to run a business. So one of the best things I did was set a schedule. I'll show you right now what I've currently got for my schedule, but I am not the best at sticking to it. And I'll show you what I mean as we're going through it. So we'll start with Monday, even though I've got mine set up that it starts at Sunday, but we'll start at Monday because Monday is today and today's the day that I'm starting the video, so we'll start at Monday. So the first thing I do every single Monday is post all of the orders from the previous week, which we just did. You were just with me while I did that. I didn't take you into the post office because I thought that'd be weird. And also, I'm not overly confident with vlogging in person, in public. So I normally pack orders just after lunchtime on a Sunday, and it takes me until about 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon, typically. On a good week, it takes me that long. But occasionally, I'll get an order later that night. So, as you can see, I've got here, pack new orders. That's just if any come in past 5 o'clock or whatever. Once I've gone to the post office, I will then make a YouTube video. In a good week. Like I said, I'm not very good at keeping it to a schedule. That's another downside to being your own boss, is sometimes it's pretty hard to stay disciplined. But on a good Monday, I will make a new YouTube video, which is what I'm doing today. And I feel like today, this Monday, is going to be quite chilled and laid back for me because I've already gone to the post office. I had no extra orders to pack, and I'm only making a short little video that's going to go all week. So today's going to be quite cruisy for me. After this, I'll probably get the rest of the day off. And then I've also tried to make it that I post on Instagram every single day. Again, another thing I'm not really very good at. I'm not good at social media in general. I just find that I always struggle to think of content to post. I think people might get a little bit bored with just looking at a leaf of a plant all the time kind of thing. And I'm not very good at editing, so having a really cool reel or something is just not something I'm very good at doing. But, I do try. So my shipping policy on the website is if you order before 12 p.m. on the Monday, I will guarantee that you get your order sent out that same day. It's currently 12:30, so if I get an order today, I'll probably still pack it because I've got nothing else to do. But if I get an order Monday afternoon, I will then pack it tomorrow morning, usually, and then post it out Tuesday morning. And then I'll go and post it straight away. With online plants, the only option I accept for shipping, and it is pretty industry standard, is that we must ship plants express post, just to guarantee that the plants are going to arrive by the end of the week. The last thing you want is a plant sitting in a box in some warehouse God knows what temperature it is in there over the weekend. Thankfully, with people that buy plants online, they sort of know that Monday is the standard for posting out orders, so they'll make their orders prior to Monday. But occasionally, some people do buy of a Monday. So me posting on a Tuesday, very uncommon, but not unheard of. So also on Tuesday, you'll see I have moss pole work, extend/make. Basically, that means for me, I grow plants up poles, moss poles, and then when it reaches the top of the second pole, I'll chop it off and propagate the bottom part of the plant. That's where I get my stock from for the shop. I grow them all myself, and then, you know, the wheels are in motion. So the pole work, which is not a dirty pun, is very time consuming. It takes hours and hours and hours to do just a few poles, so it's usually like an all day job. I have under that repotting. So if plants aren't fast sellers, they typically will outgrow their pots. So repotting is something that I've recently added to the schedule simply because I noticed that there was a few plants here and there that were growing out of their pots, and nobody wants a plant that's growing roots out of the bottom of the pot. Again, post on Instagram, don't always do it. Wednesday is my least favorite day. It's where I water all of my plants. I'm not rich, I don't have irrigation and all that set up. Also, the greenhouses that I have are getting a bit old now. I'm worried that they're getting a little bit too flimsy, and attaching things to the roof may make them cave in. And also I have heaters and humidifiers and stuff in there, and fans. I don't want to be mixing irrigation with electrical. So for now, I prefer to do it all by hand, which takes a long time. But I think for my current setup, it is better. But like I said, it's an all-day job. I will water plants in my sale greenhouse, plants in my mother plant greenhouse, plants in the back room, all the plants outside, and all of the plants inside. So it takes hours. I'm sure you'll see it on Wednesday. I'll film some stuff here and there. Thursday, again, we have some moss pole work, extend, make, things like that. It's kind of a good thing for me at the moment, in the sense that I get a break, but also really bad for business because I'm currently bursting at the seams in the sale greenhouse. I have no room to add any more extra stock. So I've been giving myself a bit of a break, and I don't have to do as much work with the moss poles and stuff like that. So where it says moss pole work, I usually just don't do that on that day, and I get a shorter day. It's bad for business because, you know, less money, but I'm working on getting another greenhouse for the sale plants, and then I can do all of this again. And then Thursday, I have empty saucers on there because when I water the plants inside, the saucers get full of water. I was emptying the saucers on Wednesday, but I found that if I left them overnight, the plants would often wick up a lot of the water, and then I would have to empty less saucers. And also they would then retain water for a bit longer, because sometimes I don't water religiously. I don't water every single Wednesday. This is more just like a guide for me. I did notice that watering every single Wednesday religiously, the plants weren't drying out enough. So I have actually been watering Wednesday and then not again until the following Sunday, and then the following Wednesday, then the following Sunday. So it was about a 10-day cycle rather than every 7 days. And then I try and make it a habit of having Friday and Saturday off, simply because I'm a firm believer of having a break. I genuinely love what I do. I love this job that I've created for myself, but I also don't want it to eventually start feeling like a job. So it's very important for me to have time off. I think that's important for most jobs anyway. But I have found that I do end up doing things on a Friday or Saturday that are plant related, whether it's just like online marketing or something like that. I always find myself doing something, because when you have your own business, typically you don't really stop. And then that brings us to Sunday. Sunday is another one of my full-on days. It's where I pack all of the orders that have come in through the week. Hopefully, we will get some good orders this week, because it has been quiet lately because of Valentine's Day. Everyone was buying flowers instead of plants, which is fair enough. But yeah, Sunday is another long day. Packing the orders takes hours as well, and I'm really not a fan of packing the orders, so I tend to procrastinate a lot, which makes it drag out even longer. Again, when Sunday rolls around, I'll film the process and you'll just like get to know everything. Everything that I'm mentioning now, I'll eventually touch in throughout the week. So yeah. Also on Sunday, I added in marketing. Marketing can be several sorts of things. Marketing for me is not limited to Sunday, but I sort of allocated a specific day where I actually sit down and I focus on marketing, whether that be paying for online ads or letterbox dropping. I do that too. or just going on Instagram and finding plant accounts, commenting on their posts and getting my name out there. Or even like Facebook groups. I found that posting in Facebook groups lately has been very, very good. I've got a lot of followers and some sales from posting on Facebook groups, because in the grand scheme of things, I am still a very small business. A lot of people don't know about Elusive plants. So Sundays, I really try and get the name out there. And then under marketing, you will see I have reconciling. That means that I go through, print out all of the orders, find all of the receipts from the week, things like that, and then I go through and I do all of the tax side of things. Another thing that nobody really tells you before starting a business is usually you've got to do all of that yourself, unless you've got a fair bit of money behind you. You can then pay an accountant to do all of your admin stuff for you, all of your tax things for you. I don't have that luxury, so I had to learn how to do it all myself, but we'll go over that on Sunday. And then lastly, the last thing on Sunday, well, besides posting on Instagram, but again, don't really do that, is update the listing photos, and I genuinely forgot that that was on there. So one thing a lot of people may not consider when buying an online plant is the photo that you see of the plant on the website may not be specifically what that plant looks like anymore, because by the time you take that photo and by the time the plants sell, they have grown, which is probably a brilliant thing for the customer, but I would like to try and have my listings a little bit more accurate and represent what the plant currently looks like. But again, I've completely forgot that that's even on there, and there's probably so many plants that need updating. But that's all from me right now. I'll do another video tomorrow. Hopefully we get some orders overnight. That'd be fun to pack tomorrow. And I can't imagine we're going to do any moss pile work, but we can probably definitely do some repotting. I know that there's some plants in the greenhouse that are starting to outgrow their pots, so we'll probably do that. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. Today I'm just going to be doing some repotting, I think. I'm not going to have too much of a big day. Usually this is a massive day for me to do the moss pole work, like cut them, propagate them, things like that, but I don't have any room. I'll show you inside of the greenhouse, the sale greenhouse that is. But today I think I'm just going to focus on potting up the plants, like repotting plants, because there's a few in here that are actually outgrown the pots that they're in, but I'm probably not going to show that on here. I'm thinking I might make a repot video out of it. Never made one. We'll see. But here, I'll show you. Yeah, this is how full this greenhouse is. Oh, the cord's fallen down, that's annoying. So, yeah. These are all the plants for sale. There's quite a lot. And the floor is covered. So yeah, but the best way I can tell when things need repotting, either I can tell because they need watering more than others, or I just get down low and look under the shelves, and sometimes you can see that, like for example this one right here, like that, the root has grown, so obviously that needs to be repotted. And you can see on this that there's so many on this side. So many roots just coming down, so they all need to be repotted. But yeah, I think I'm definitely going to make a repot video out of it. I'm not really sure what you do in them, but let's wing it. But aside from that, that's all I'm going to do today. I am going to post on Instagram though. I haven't done that for a long time, so that definitely needs to be done. And also this week I'm going to be doing a restock. I forgot to mention that. That's not on the schedule, simply because I don't do it every week. But I think from now on, I'm going to make the restocks a little bit smaller. I'm going to do maybe 5 different plants per restock. So then that way I have content to, I have stock to put out every week. Hopefully, in theory, we'll see what happens. Because there's a lot of plants in here that need to be uploaded. I just realized recently that I haven't put them on there. So yeah, I'm going to draw it out, put them out weekly, I think. Hopefully, if not at least fortnightly. Because right now it's probably monthly, but I do like big drops, so I think yeah, I'm going to do some smaller, more frequent drops. I also need to find something to post on Instagram, so let's go do that now. So today's watering day, and it's my least favorite day of the week. I hate watering day. I always procrastinate real hard on watering day. I genuinely hate it so much. It's currently 11:45 a.m. and I'm just sort of like getting into things. Usually it ends up taking me all day to water the plants, simply because, like I said, I'm a master procrastinator. I will do something and then I'll like do something else. I'll get distracted, try and find other things to distract myself so I don't have to water, when in reality, if I just smashed it out, I could get it all done in a couple of hours. But it ends up taking me all bloody day, and that's my own fault. But I'll show you what needs to be watered today. So we have all of these. I also need to go through and empty all of the glass jars of propagations, and don't look at my Crocs, and change all the water in that. These ones here need to be watered, but they aren't too bad. There's not that many in here. These ones, ignore the Bunnings umbrella. I went for a walk in the rain last night. These ones, these are all kind of ugly and neglected. I literally just dump water in the top. Fun fact about moss poles, if you put cling wrap around them, you can water straight down and the water doesn't go everywhere. Unrelated to what this video is about, let's move on. These ones, again, ugly and neglected. These guys here, these ones in this corner, this one, this Repotting tetrasperma. All of the plants in the sale greenhouse, which I've kind of already shown you already in a previous day. All the ones down the side of the sale greenhouse. On both sides, there's more down here. This one, these, oh my gosh, look how dehydrated they are. I also go through and top up all of the bogs for the week. All of these ones. All of these get watered. All of that too. That little random variegated chain of hearts. These random plants in here get watered. This one. All of these random neglected plants, these, all of these down in here, and then of course the mother greenhouse, which takes the longest. Like I said, I'm also a master procrastinator when it comes to watering day. I absolutely hate watering. So to delay it even more today, I was thinking I will do a restock for the website as well today, because it's better to do that before I water the plants, so then all the drippage from the pots doesn't go into the light box. I can't remember who it was, but somebody also suggested to me that I do smaller drops, because in this climate that we're living in, nobody can afford to spend too much money. So if I drop like 5 to 10-ish plants each time, I probably won't even do 10 per time, I'll probably about 5. Then people are more inclined to grab like 1 or 2 plants here and there, rather than if I drop like 10 to 20 plants at a time, people feel overwhelmed and like, oh my God, I can't spend too much money, then they just don't buy anything at all. So I'm gonna try that for a couple of weeks, maybe even a couple of months, where I just upload 5 or so plants at a time, either weekly or fortnightly, because I usually upload once a month, and we'll just see what happens. So I'm probably gonna pick out 5 or so plants now that aren't on the website and do that now. So now I'm gonna go in the greenhouse and try and find 5 different types of plants to put on the website today. I can't even remember the name of this one, but I know for sure I'm gonna put the Piper, the velvety Piper. It's like Popilophyllum or something, it's a weird name. Definitely gonna put that on there. I'm gonna put Syngonium Pink Spot. Don't look at my bum. We'll put some Brandianum, haven't had that on the website for a little bit. We'll do Philodendron Painted Lady. I have never had that one on the website. I'd rather them a little bit bigger, but I'm trying to find things to put on the website. We'll do Begonia Looking Glass. Very pretty plant. I should also mention that I take note of how many of each plant I have, so then I can add it onto the website in the stock count section, so then I don't oversell plants that I don't have. Sometimes I do stuff up though, and say I'll do a mystery box, I'll forget to adjust the count on a certain plant, and then somebody will buy it, and then I'll have to refund them, and it's really annoying. I feel bad. Very unprofessional, but you know, mistakes happen. The next thing I'll do is take video of the product I'm going to be selling. People love to see the product from all different types of angles, but because the plants that I sell are typically smaller, there's only so many photos you can take before it starts to become a bit repetitive, so I just get a video in there as well, just a quick little spin of the plant, or like a show of the base of the plant to show like growth points. If there's variegation, I'll try and get some variegation shots in there as well. And I always do it on a more neutral kind of background, because then you can focus more on the plant itself. Also, I'm sweating so bad because it's over 30 degrees out here and I'm standing right against There's like an iron fence that's radiating heat into my head. The first thing that I'll do is make the plant presentable for the photos. For example, look at all these leaves. They're all pretty and what you want the plant to look like, mostly. But then this one was the original leaf that it was propagated from, so it kind of looks ugly and dull and it's had its time. It needs to come off. So for the photos, I'll remove that and then we'll take photos. And then that looks way better for photographing and video. It's even got a little growth point, that's cute. So what I'll do is I'll go into my phone, I'll go over to the video. That's literally all I do for the video side of things. And it's just like a really quick video like this. It's usually all I'll do. So the next thing that I'll do is I'll come down into my room, and I've got this light box in my room. Probably a silly mistake to put it in here because it's bigger than any doorway and I can't get it out without disassembling it. And it was a pain in the butt to get it assembled in the first place. I used to have a ruler in the photo with the plants when I was taking photos of the plants, but it would look weird when I would edit the photos, and you'll see the process a bit later on. But for now, let's just get it turned on because it does take a little while to warm up. And the lights to get to their brightest capacity. I probably should change this paper. I haven't done that for a while. As you can see, this is what happens when you don't use dry plants, you use the wet plants. The stuff seeps through and it just looks like really ugly. So I'll actually replace that now before we get too into it. So the process for this is quite simple. I'll grab the plant, I'll place it in here, and I'll always try and have it so that the best angle of the plant is facing forward, obviously. If there's any like blemishes, see how that's on the pot? Sometimes I'll just remove that in Photoshop, but I try not to edit the photos too much because it's a pain in the butt. That's probably fine. Then I'll get my camera, and then in the photos I'll swipe up and I will go to the exposure settings and I'll put it all the way up. That just really brightens the photo some more and makes the plants look really vibrant. It's all about marketing. Next I'll hold this, the ring light, and I'll shove my phone in between it. This is really hard to do with the camera in my way. But yeah, I'll just, no, I don't like that angle. That's a bit better. Then you just take a photo. And then I'll usually get a close-up of the photo too, of the leaf, but I'll always pick the best leaf. Oh no! Love that. I always get at least 2 photos if I can. Obviously, typically you'd want more, but like I said, you can't get too many photos when the plant's that small. So then I'll do that with every single one of the other plants. So now that I've taken all the photos of the plants, I'm actually going to go out and water. I don't want to. I hate watering, but it's got to be done. So I'm going to do that. I'll try and smash it out as quick as I can. It's currently 12:33 p.m. I'm not going to stop probably, and I'm not going to get distracted probably. So let's see how long it actually takes me to do all the watering. If I don't get distracted, we'll see what happens. But then when I come back, I will try and figure out how to screen record on the computer, and I will show you how I edit the photos and upload them to my website, and all of that behind the scenes stuff, and send out an email campaign. That's something that people would probably be interested in seeing, right? So the time is now 3:23 p.m. I can't remember what time I started watering plants, but I finished about 20 minutes ago. I was actually just coming here and setting up the screen recorder. I figured out how to do it, I think. So I can show you what I'm going to be doing now. I've already gone ahead and taken all of the photos and videos from my phone and put them on the computer. So with Shopify and even Squarespace, they don't allow you to upload .mov files, which is what the iPhone records in. So I have to go through and then I have to convert the files from .mov. I convert them to MP4 format. I just find that that's a universal one that seems to work everywhere. But to do that, I'm not very tech savvy, so don't judge me, but I just use a free converter online. I use freeconvert.com. And now I can show you my screen. Hopefully I can get this to work. So I just upload them. I make a new plant file on the desktop of my computer, and then I just select all of the plant files, the videos, and then I put them in here. And you'll notice that there's an advanced option setting. If you click that, you don't have to do this, but this is what I do. I go down and I select remove audio, and then I apply it to all files. Simply because I don't feel like you need to have audio in the videos when you are putting them on the website. I feel like people just need to see the video rather than hear it, and they don't need to have like background noise if there's birds chirping or trucks driving by, something like that. People don't need that, they just need the video. So that's why I remove the audio from everything. This website's really cool for that. You can do bulk conversions, but I think there's a limit for how many you can do a day. I want to say that there's like 10 that you can do a day, which is fine, because if you have a different web browser, say like Firefox, or is Firefox still around? Or Edge, something like that, you can go onto the website on a different one and it works. Or if you have a VPN, you can change the location. Just little workarounds. So anyway, we convert that, and it takes a little while, but then you can sort of bulk download them. It's saying that I'm offline, which is bizarre. So we'll sort that out. It downloads them all into a compressed file, and you just extract it, and then you're good to go. Turns out it wouldn't convert them while I was screen recording, which is strange. Whatever. Must be some sort of privacy thing that company uses. But anyway, next thing I do after all of that is I come over to Canva, which is an incredible website if you've never heard of it. It's where I design a lot of my stuff and edit all of my photos for the plants. You'll notice here that I always keep like one old design, and that's because I like the glow behind it, and I don't know where to find it again. So I always make sure that I just keep recycling that one. Anyway, you upload your photos. I usually just do one plant at a time. So we'll do the begonia looking glass. I just upload them. You come down here and they get uploaded here. Ignore all of these old photos. It's from old uploads and thumbnails. Delete that by. So then we'll just pick one random plant. And then this is why I have the white on the background too, like the white piece of paper, because it makes it stand out a bit better. And I don't want to just put it straight on the thing, because as you can see down here, like it's getting scratched up and it's just not cute. So I always try to have it on a piece of paper. Anyway, I click background remover. Takes a couple of seconds, but usually it's pretty good. See, it's removed all of the background. Then I come over and I click use in design. Like I said, I don't really edit the plants themselves unless there's something really bad on the pot or something like that. I try and be as accurate as I can with what the plants look like. And from here, I click position and go to layers, and then I go down here to the white background and I just change it to black. Cute. Sometimes I will resize it just to make it fit in the picture a little bit better. And with Canva, you can sort of, sometimes it will show you there'll be lines there, see? And it's saying that right when it does it, right there is dead center, which is what we like to see. Anyway, I come back over and remember when I was talking about the blur in the background, the glow? I just copy that and then I paste it into here and then change it to the back, and that's how I do all the photos. So I'm going to go ahead and do that to every single photo, and then I'll show you the upload process onto Shopify. Depending on how big of a restock I do, this can take hours. It literally took me all day one day because I did like 20 something plants. But because there's only 5, I should be able to get through this pretty quick, which we love. Hopefully then I'll get to knock off pretty early. I kind of just realized that I don't need to edit all of the photos to show you how to upload them. So I did go ahead and I finished the other photo of the begonia that I was just editing to show you. But anyway, I'll show you the next process. So on Shopify, which is the host of the website, the back end basically, you come over to the product section over here and then you click add product. Woo, fun. I always start with uploading the photos first. So these are the 2 that we edited, because it takes a little bit to, upload them sometimes depending on how big the file size is. But then also we can add in the video. Where is it? That one. So that can be there. I don't know why it takes so long. I mean, I know it's a file, it's a video file, it is bigger, but talk amongst yourselves for a minute, I suppose. So the file's uploaded, you click done, it's there. I'm gonna rearrange these because this is the one that I want to be the main photo. This one here is more like a close-up of the leaf. So we're gonna name it Begonia Looking Glass, why not? So now we will write a description. I'm sure descriptions for different products and across different types of businesses are very, very different things. For me, I probably should be mentioning the light requirements, the watering requirements, the growth pattern, all of that sort of stuff for the plants that I'm listing, but I don't, simply because the majority of the plants that I upload are all similar. So people that are buying plants from me usually already know how to look after the plants. I upload usually Monstera, Philodendron, Syngonium, things like that, that are all very easy to take care of if you know how to take care of those sorts of plants. And I have a whole section on how to look after the plants on the website. Plus I upload YouTube videos all the time. So, not all the time. People have plenty of resources out there on how to learn, and people can just reach out to me directly and I'll help them if they're struggling with a certain plant or whatever. So my descriptions of the plants are usually just fluff, basically. So we'll say like the begonia, if I could spell, looking glass is an incredible looking plant. The leaves look metallic. Is that how you spell metallic? There we go. The leaves look metallic, and under certain light can have a glitteriness to it. Is glitteriness a word? Glitteriness to it? Nope. Okay, well, that's how glitteriness is going to be spelled. The back sides of the leaves, which I should have taken a photo of, I didn't. Oops. The back sides of the leaves have a blood red color to them, and this is an absolute must. Oh my god, absolute. Does anyone else spell things like that? You sounded out. Must for any collector. If anyone watches this, I'm gonna look quite dumb. I'm not saying I'm not. I just also realised that I'm not recording. What a silly duffer. That part of the video is not going to have great audio. Whatever. So, blah, blah, blah. The backside of blood. So that'll do. People aren't here to read the descriptions, in my opinion. When I'm buying plants and stuff online, I don't look at the descriptions. I just see the plant and I'll be like, I want that, and then I buy it. But I always make sure to add in the bottom of the description, I have several of these available. So the one pictured, oh my god, I don't normally type this bad, it's just because I'm making a video and I feel under pressure. So the one pictured may not be the one you receive, but they are of all similar size and appearance. Oops. So that sort of just like covers my ass a little bit when it comes to if anyone complains like, oh, this isn't the exact plant that's pictured. Well, obviously not. I'm not going to go take photos of like hundreds of different plants that are all the same plant, just so you can sort of pick what plant specifically you want, because that's just a waste of my time. But there are exceptions to that rule. If there's a specific plant with like a very specific sort of variegation or something, then I will list. So say I had this plant, but it was all different types of variegation. I've never seen this plant variegated, but for an example, I would then name it like Begonia Looking Glass A, and then Begonia Looking Glass B, things like that, and have specific photos of that specific plant that that person will specifically buy. So yeah, just keep that in mind if you do upload products that have different varieties. Anyway, so in the categories underneath, it usually always pops up, but it's not. But there. Oh, what? That was weird. No, we want indoor and outdoor plants. We want that. The price. Good question. $20. Usually I research, but for the sake of the video, I'm not going to. I don't charge tax because we're in Australia. I tracked the quantity, and remember how I took note of how many I had earlier? I only had 2. So then I will chuck 2 in the thing. We don't want to keep selling when we're out of stock. I don't have SKUs or barcodes. It's a physical product. I'm not going to put the weight in though, just because I don't ship via weight, but I will. I'm thinking maybe on a Friday I will do a whole thing of like pros and cons when it comes to having your own business, and shipping is going to be a major thing of that, you best believe. And this is what it looks like on Google and things like that down here. But yeah. And then I always chuck in the I chuck it into the collections, which is all plants. It's in new arrivals, and I would say it's still pretty uncommon. If you can't get it at like Bunnings or big box stores, then it's always going to be uncommon, in my opinion. Until I see it at Bunnings or something, it's never going to be common. And then it'll be active, yes. Yeah, I think that's it. So then we save it. And then, in theory, if I go to my website, it will be in the new arrivals. There we are. Now people can buy it. I'll check back in when we're sending out the email campaign. Okay, so all of the plans have been uploaded now. And I also activated gift cards because for some reason I hadn't already done that. And I mean, why not? When people don't know what plants to buy, if they want to buy a birthday present for somebody or something like that, a gift card is a brilliant option, and you can make it that they don't expire, which is also great. So as you can see on the screen, I'm going to make a campaign now, which is what they call like the newsletter emails that people get. One of the main reasons people send out emails is to let people know of when new products come in stock. So that's what we're going to do now. Also, with my website and my newsletter subscribers, I always make sure that I send out all of the new products to them first. I feel like as a newsletter subscriber, you should be getting perks that other people aren't going to get. So my newsletter subscribers always get exclusive discounts, and they get to know when all of the new products come in first. I'll send that out today, and then tomorrow is when I'll upload all of the plants to other places like Facebook Marketplace and things like that. So let's get started. I've only recently switched over to Shopify, so I'm still sort of learning it myself. Also, I want to say that I don't know what I'm doing most of the time. I wing everything that I do. So what I'm telling you right now may not be the best thing that you should be doing for your business. It's just what I've found works for me. I'm sure there's plenty of other things out there that work a lot better. But for me personally, this is just what I've been doing now. But if you have any suggestions for me, then absolutely, I'm always open to trying new things. So I think we're going to start with the new arrivals template. It should, in theory, put a lot of the stuff into the email for us, which is good. The annoying thing with my website and the design of my website is everything's black. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but it's the fact that a lot of the things are hidden. So like this, I need to change the text color to that so then people can see what's actually happening. We usually start off with like a subject, so what people will see when the email first comes through. For this one, we'll say like, plant drop. Plant drop, why not? And then the preview text will be, actually no, we'll do plant drop plus gift cards added to the website. And then the preview text is when like the email comes through on your phone, for example, and you can see partially what the email's about. So this will, in the preview text, we'll put like mini plant drop along with adding along with adding, what am I going to say here? I hate my brain sometimes. Mini plant drop along with adding gift cards. Finally. Why not? We'll come down, and the cool thing about Shopify is it already automatically adds in the new things for you, which is fun, but there should be text under here, and I bet you any money it's hidden. Yep, it always is. How annoying. So with these emails, you can customize a lot of it. You can go in and change the photos. Like, I probably won't have the branding anim there just because I've had it on the website before. I'll probably put, what was another one that I did? Can't even remember. I'll probably put the looking glass there instead because it's more popular. I have this open. Oops. I have this open so I can see the prices of the gift cards. But what you also want to do is, because when you send out emails like this, people instantly want to see what the new products are. So anything that isn't what your business is about, so for me, it's all plants, you want to add anything else that you need to say above that, because people will instantly scroll to the plants and then they'll leave the email. So I want to put the gift cards above the plants so then people know immediately that there's gift cards now on the website. Then I'll have the plants under that. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now, and then I'll come back and show you what the final email looks like. All right, so we finished the campaign. It's a very simple one, simply because there's not that much to add into it this week. But you can see, like, there's a giant thing up here promoting what I really want to promote, which is the gift cards. And then underneath, I always call the newsletter subscribers Elusive Society. It used to be the Inner Circle, but then since I switched over to Shopify, I just changed it to Elusive Society, so it's more on brand. Just let them know that I've added the gift cards to the website. I've mentioned the amounts that are available. I'm also going to add, there's also no expiration date on the gift cards, and they can be used on any product store-wide and on any order. That'll do. The image that I got from an AI thingy. And then I also added some new plants to the store. Check this out below and shop the full range available on the website. And then, yeah, I just added in the new ones that I added today, and that will be it. I don't know if I can show you the next screen for privacy reasons. I can't have their emails being shown, but we'll see. Yeah, I guess so. That's good. Schedule send. That's weird. Let's send it now. How's that sound? Good. I absolutely love opening the campaigns because it shows you how many people have opened them, and then it's obviously not showing it all now, but it shows you so it shows you how many emails are sent, how many people have opened them, and what they click on and things like that. It's really interesting to look at. Just got it. Woohoo! It looks really good on the phone, to be honest. Love that. So now if I check the screen, what am I saying? Now if I check the computer, it'll tell me how many people have opened it and stuff like that. It says open rate 0. I opened it just then, so it's lying. Oops. I just realized that I showed you who've opened it and I can't do that, which is annoying. But people have opened it. That's the main thing. But anyway, that's all I'm going to record for today. I'm losing sunlight outside and I'm going to knock off. It's 5:06 p.m. Good day's work, guys. Pats on the back. I'll see you tomorrow. Hooroo. Not the best lighting, but I did kind of forget that I was actually making a video this week, so I didn't record anything. But today's really boring anyway. It's just like Tuesday, but instead I've actually found some moss poles that I needed to extend. So that's what I'm doing today. I also went through and emptied all the sauces this morning, which took 2 seconds because thankfully I left them overnight and the water wicked up. The plants wicked up the water from the sources. So there was like 2 that I needed to empty. Happy days. But yeah, I'm just extending a couple of poles outside. Come back inside because it's so hot. It's over 30 degrees here today. I'm basically standing in direct sun, so I just need to have a bit of a break. But I'll also probably go through and empty all of the water in the propagation jars today, simply because I didn't do that yesterday. I forgot about it. But tomorrow, because I don't technically work Friday and Saturday, I was thinking tomorrow I could do like a pros and cons list of having your own business, and then on Saturday I could do some types of things like advice or things I wish I knew before starting a business, that type of stuff. But we'll wait and see what happens. But yeah, not going to talk too much more today. Not much else to talk about, really. So I'll see you tomorrow. Hello, it's Friday. TGIF. Am I right? I think I'm right. Today, because I don't technically work for the business today. Well, sometimes I do. I probably am still going to. I'll get into it in a second. But today I figured I'd talk about the pros and cons of having your own small business. Obviously, my pros and cons could be different than other small business owners based on what their business is about. But some of these, like as a general, will apply to most small business owners. And I think it's just going to be interesting to talk about them, to be honest, because there's probably a lot of things behind the scenes that people don't know about. So I figured I'd talk about them today. So we'll start with the cons and get them over and done with. And then we'll just end Friday on a positive. One of the biggest cons for me personally is you have to self-motivate yourself. I really struggle some days to just want to get out of bed and go to work, you know what I mean? I work from home, which makes it even harder because I don't feel the pressure to get up and get ready and go to a place because I can just roll out of bed and start whenever I want, kind of thing. It's an amazing thing. It's definitely a pro as well, but there are some days where I'm just like, you know what? I'm not going to do it today. I'm not going to work today. And then I'll just watch movies all day or something. So it's definitely more of a con than a pro, is you have to self-motivate yourself. This one mostly probably impacts me and not many other people, but my job really heavily relies on the weather. Like if it's too hot outside or if it's raining, it's game over for like any outdoor sort of work that I've got to do, which makes it hard also because I have plants and a lot of the plant work that I do is outside. So yeah, I work under a tin roof outside, which is like maybe 30 centimeters above my head, maybe 60 on a good day. And I checked the temperature out there and it got to 49 degrees before I had to leave it. I was like, this is too hot in here. So it definitely sucks when it comes to the weather, and nobody likes working in the rain anyway. Nobody wants to work while you're soaking wet. So on days like that when the weather is being annoying, I will like come inside and I'll try and do something online or, you know, something else to still be productive. Another con is it's a massive financial risk. You invest a lot of your own personal money into the business, and there's no guarantee you're gonna see that money again. And especially when you're just starting out like me, I've only been doing this for just over a year. If something goes wrong, like for me, if a greenhouse breaks or something like that, that usually comes out of my own pocket. Like I don't often have the money in the business account to completely rebuild a greenhouse or something like that. Do you know what I mean? So there's definitely a major financial risk when it comes to starting a small business. Another con is long hours and lots of stress. You never really stop working because, especially for like me, because I put a lot of my stuff on Facebook Marketplace as well, people don't look at the time before they message you. They could message you at like 11 p.m. Like I do have my business hours on Google, but nobody goes and checks that before they see a Facebook Marketplace listing. So I will get messages at like 11 p.m. and because you know, you want to set a good example for yourself, so you will reply to these people and end up having a conversation at 11 p.m. I'm not going to sit there and turn people away and be rude about it because they messaged me after hours. Like, that's silly. And then there's a lot of stress because everything that you have to do falls on you. If you're a one-man show like me, you have to do every single thing. And yeah, it's not easy sometimes. Which leads me into like full responsibility. You are responsible for every single thing that your business entails. You need to make sure that everything's up and running, the website's working properly, like people can pay on the website or in person. Like the listings and everything on your website need to be correct. Everything falls on you, and it's stressful. Another con is like the legal and tax side of things. You need to make sure that you need to make sure that you're doing everything legally, and also you need to research on how to cover yourself when it comes to tax and stuff like that. My advice with that is see an accountant. I had to do that for the tax side of things. I was like, I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm going to pay somebody to sort of teach me. Now I know what I'm doing. But as for like the legal side of things, you'd see, I don't know, like a lawyer or something. I don't know. I've actually not researched the legal side of things. I have my website through Shopify, and Shopify has this whole section on like the legal side of things, which helps. So I've just done my own research with that sort of stuff, and I feel like it's not hard for me to stick within the law when it comes to what I do. I don't think there's too much risk there for me personally. And there's also no benefits when you're running your own business, at least at the start. By that, I mean you don't get any sick leave, you don't get any holiday leave, you don't get super put into your superannuation, nothing like that. So you sort of got to plan it and put money aside and prepare for the future if things aren't going too well. Because it happens. Every single business goes through moments of like low income. So you've definitely got to have like a little nest egg of money. There's also a lot of competitive pressure when it comes to having your own business. You need to make sure that you're researching what other people are doing in the same sort of industry as you, in the same field. For me, I try and compare what I sell to places like Bunnings or other places that you buy plants that are pretty common and easy to access, because I want to be able to provide plants that aren't at places like that. It keeps me sort of separated from a place that you can just go and pick up a plant on a Saturday kind of thing. But then there's also a lot of other online plant stores that have a lot of plants, and you got to sort of keep an eye out for what they have and then try and either get them and make them a little bit cheaper and things like that. You've just got to try and keep your head above the water when it comes to selling the products that you're selling. There's also a lot of like burnout risk and mental health issues that come along with it because of the amount of stress that you do go through, especially if you are a one-person show. Like I said, you have to do it all yourself, so it's very stressful sometimes. And then there are honestly days where you're just like, I don't know if this is going to work. Like, I don't know if I can keep doing this. So you definitely have moments of weakness, and you just need to make sure that you're checking yourself and just like making sure you're staying on the right path and taking breaks when you actually need to have a break. And another big con is that sometimes it's really hard to find answers for things that you need help with. For example, like a major example, for what I do, I sell indoor plants, as we know, as I've spoken about many times in this video already. The shipping when it comes to that, because I live in Australia and Australia has very strict quarantine rules for certain states, a lot of biosecurity laws. I can't ship to certain states in Australia and territories like Northern Territory. I can't ship there. So shipping, when it like a lot of people, this is the thing that a lot of people don't understand, is that when you buy plants online, it costs a fair bit of money. Like it's usually like industry standard is like $20, and you have to pay for express shipping to make sure and guarantee that you receive your plants that week. But what a lot of people don't understand is that a lot of companies use weight-based shipping, which then really drastically increases the price of shipping, especially when it comes to express. And when you have a website, there's things called fulfillment profiles when it comes to shipping. So what you can do to sort of separate all of the things that aren't allowed to be shipped to certain places, you can put them in a fulfillment profile and then charge a different type of shipping, or completely block them out from being able to be shipped to a certain part of Australia or the world or whatever. But if you do that, then people need to go through a checkout system twice at the end of checking out on the website. So then people end up paying like twice as much for shipping sometimes. It's ridiculous. Shipping is a nightmare when it comes to indoor plants or just plants in general. But there are like third-party apps and websites and stuff that you can use and incorporate, and then they sort of handle it. But you need to know how to code, or it costs so much money, and it's just not worth it for the average Joe, basically. And for indoor plants, it's not practical to weigh every single plant because plants grow and then they become heavier. And for me, I ship my plants bare rooted, so that means that I take them out of the pot and shake off all the soil, which makes them lighter for shipping. So then if I was to weigh a plant in a pot compared to when it's not in a pot, it's going to be different, and it's just so complicated, and it's just not practical for me to weigh the plants. So that's why I just do a flat rate shipping of $20 regardless of what it is you buy. I did have standard shipping on there as well, and I made a little note that people needed to select express shipping if they had plants in their order, but more often than not, people were ignoring that and selecting standard shipping, and it was annoying me because then I'd have to cover the costs, and people don't understand that it all adds up. That comes out of my pocket. So I just completely got rid of standard shipping for now, and people have to pay express, and if they don't like it, well then shop somewhere else. Sorry. But yeah, shipping is the number one thing that I have struggled with my website. Building a website from scratch was a bit of a struggle, but once you get the hang of it, it's pretty easy. But shipping is an absolute freaking nightmare, and people just don't understand unless you've had your own business. I use Australia Post, and Australia Post goes by weight. So if your package that you're sending out is below 500 grams, it's relatively cheap. If it goes above 500 up to a kilo, it gets more expensive. And then if it goes over a kilo, don't get me started on the jump in price. It's ridiculous. I had someone buy a mystery box. I think it was a $500 mystery box once, and they bought it on special. Like, I had a 50% off sale for my newsletter subscribers because I like to give them special treatment. So she ended up only paying $250 for it, and then $20 shipping. I packed that order, and the shipping itself was going to be $175. And I messaged her and I was like, look, I'm really sorry. I'm not sending this out. I'll send it to you standard, because the standard was like $50 or something. And she was she completely understood what was. I obviously worded it a bit better, but I explained it to her, and yeah, she was very understanding, thankfully. But yeah, shipping's an absolute nightmare. So, and then I don't want to go and charge people based on weight, because then it's a deterrent for people to buy online, because thankfully more than often, most of the orders are below the weight requirements, so then it does only cost me about $18 or something to ship things out. But then obviously I charge people $20, so whatever's remaining goes into the shipping cost, the packaging costs, like the packing peanuts and the boxes and things like that. But yeah, I don't want to charge people more, because if you go and order 50 plants or something, the shipping's going to be insane, and then it'll turn you off, and then you'll just get out of the order. So, yeah. Anyway, I'm rambling. This video is going to be so freaking long, and I do apologize. And the last con that I have written down is that everything costs money. Everything costs money. And that seems like it's an obvious thing, but you don't really think about all of it until you're actually having to do it. If just even asking a professional for advice costs money. It costs you hundreds of dollars to sit down for half an hour to talk to a professional about certain things, and you just really don't take that into consideration before you start this. And that's another big deterrent when it comes to starting your own business, is you get into the nitty gritty of it all, and then people are like, oh my god, it's too overwhelming and too expensive and blah blah blah. And they're not wrong. They are not wrong. Honestly, I run this out of my home, and if I didn't do that, if I didn't work from home, there's no way I'd be able to keep this ship afloat. I do not make enough money from selling plants to be able to fund a physical store or anything like that. That's just not a reality in the climate that we're living in, where people aren't spending money on materialistic things like plants. It's as simple as that. And another major con that I didn't write down, that I've just thought of now, is that there are some weeks when you have such a niche sort of business, like indoor plants, quite specific, and not everyone likes plants. It's not like a major clothing brand I can't think of a single, Cotton On, for example, where people will go online and buy cheap clothing, or Kmart or whatever. It's not like that. It's very niche. It's not a necessity to have an indoor plant. So there are literally some weeks, like this one so far, where I don't get any orders at all, which is really annoying because I'm trying to show you a week in the life and I would like to show you the packing process. So what I'm going to do after this video is I'm going to go and put some things on sale on the website and then do a post on Instagram and try and lure some people in to buy some stuff, because I would like to film some orders, packing process. And I haven't not had an order in a week for the longest time. Like every single week for months and months and months, I've had an order, at least one. So fingers crossed that by the end of the week I get an order. Again, rambling, let's move on to the pros. So a major pro of having your own business is you get to work when you want to work. That's also obviously a con because self-motivation, but you have that flexibility to just choose when you want to work. If you want to take some time off and go out to lunch with an old friend or something like that, if you want to take the weekend off to go to a party, anything like that, you are more than welcome to. You can do whatever you want when you have your own business, and it's amazing. And you have no one to answer to. You don't have a boss that's saying like you need to do this, and you don't have KPIs and anything like that. It's so freeing when you have your own business. I absolutely love it. Another pro is that you have full control over what happens when it happens. You have complete creative control. And it's very rare in like any other sort of retail job or any other industry where you are given that responsibility. And if you are, you're still going to have somebody to answer to. On the flip side of having no income sometimes, there's also the potential that you will have unlimited financial income. Your income will scale with the growth of your business. If you have a successful business, you choose how much you get paid. You don't have to stick to any sort of like brackets. You can just take money out. If you're a sole trader, at least, it's a little bit more complicated if you're a proprietor limited and things like that. But sole traders, you can just take whatever you want. But obviously, you need to be earning the money to do that. And obviously, you don't want to take too much money out of the business account in case something bad happens. That's a major thing that I learnt right from the get-go, is you need to have backup money in your business account for when things are a bit quieter. Like this month for me, like January was amazing for me. I was $90 off breaking my record for the most sales, and I did no promotions, no marketing, no discounts, anything like that. It was just a really, really good month for me. But February, complete opposite. It's been very, very quiet. Valentine's week was awful because everyone was buying flowers instead of foliage. So you need to have that backup income if you absolutely need it for the slower months or weeks, hopefully days. Another pro is that there's a lot of personal fulfillment. You get to sit back and watch your business grow, and it doesn't happen overnight unless you've got like a major income on like YouTube or Instagram or TikTok or something like that. Your business will not grow immediately overnight. You have to build it from the ground up, and that can take years. It can take anywhere from like 1 to 5 years for your business to start being profitable. So you've really got to be able to stick with it and continuously grow it. But then when you sit back and reflect on it, you get that satisfaction, and you get to sit back and you look at it and you're like, you know what, I did that myself from nothing, and now look at it. Another major pro, and I probably shouldn't say this, I don't know, but whatever, is there's a lot of tax write-offs. So for me personally, my business started as a hobby. I loved collecting indoor plants, but now I can build greenhouses and like buy plants, and it's all tax deductible. So obviously they aren't for me, it's for the business, but I own the business, therefore it's for me. So you know what I mean? There's a lot of benefits when it comes to that sort of stuff too. And for example, if you go to any plant fairs or anything like that, that's a tax write-off as well, because it's like research essentially. And then you can claim the fuel for driving down there, and if you have lunch, you can claim the lunch. It's really, really cool when it comes to that sort of stuff, and a lot of the things you don't sort of realize when you start thinking about a business is all of those sorts of benefits that come along with it. And another pro is you have job security. You are the boss. If you are getting money and you have income, then you're not going anywhere. Like, you have this job for as long as you can keep it alive. Another pro is scalability. You have the ability, if you are good at what you do, to then grow your business, branch out, try little other avenues, because you're not necessarily limited to, like for me, I marketed as selling indoor plants, but I also sell stationery and I sell clothing, things like that. You're not necessarily limited to what you start out doing. So you have that ability to branch out and grow the business. And then kind of hand in hand with that is you then start to develop all these assets that you can then use for later benefits and things like that I haven't had to do yet, so I don't have much to say on it, and I have no opinion. And hand in hand with that is you can eventually have multiple income streams. So for example, if you start selling other things on the side that are still incorporated with the business to some extent, then you'll start getting income from that, along with the income that you've already got from your business. Then you have got like 2 income streams, and you just start to build more and more income over time, and then, set yourself up for life. And then that can in turn set up generational wealth. So if your business does do really well, long term, you can then set things up for other people in your family, usually your kids or whatever, to then take over the business, and then that'll set them up financially. And that's kind of really cool, and I wish my parents did that. Thanks, Mum and Dad. So I've only got 2 more things left, and they can be both pros and cons, so I've kept them separate from the list, and we'll briefly talk about them because this video is already 26 minutes for today only, which is insane. So another pro or con, depending on who you are as a person, is hiring staff. I personally love the idea. I have always been the type of person that enjoys interviewing people and finding out who they are, and then trying to pick the right person for the job. So that's something that I very much enjoy, but then I can also tell that like a lot of other people don't enjoy sort of doing that. It's just not in their personality, which is fair enough. But sometimes in life, you've just got to do these things. And then the last one I have written down is keeping up appearances. If you are a social person and you enjoy talking to people, then this will be no problem for you. But if you're more introverted, then it could be a bit of a struggle and more of a con, because you need to socialize with people. You need to build a rapport. You need to network. You need to get your name out there, and not necessarily put on a happy facade, but because for me personally, I'm a friggin' ray of sunshine. I love talking to people and I love getting to know them. And a lot of customers that I've had are now personal friends. So, yeah, I can see where that's not a pro for some people, but for me, it's definitely a pro. I do, however, get nervous when it comes to unfamiliar things. Like I'm about to start getting into doing market stalls and stuff like that. That's very much outside my comfort zone, but at the same time, like once I'm there for like half an hour, it's going to be completely fine, and I'll be looking forward to it every single time that sort of happens. So yeah, but that's all for Friday today. Tomorrow I'll probably talk about some advice and things that they don't really tell you, but I'm probably going to keep it a lot shorter because this video is going to be like an hour and nobody wants to sit through an hour-long video, surely. I wouldn't. Maybe I would if it was on this topic. I find this stuff interesting. But anyway, I'll see you tomorrow. Hooroo. Hello. It's Saturday night. It's 9:06 p.m. on Saturday night. And I figured that I would do like some advice and things I didn't tell you prior to starting a small business. But I'm going to do it really quick because I'm very aware that this video is going to be very long as it is. And this little receiver thing that stores all of the audio recordings is almost flat. It's on red, so it may die, and then I may end up having weird audio for the rest of this video. So let's just get right into it. So we'll start with advice first. One of the best things I can tell you to do if you're going to start your own business is make a schedule. Don't just go into it with the whole mentality of like, I'm going to do whatever I want to do on whatever day feels right kind of thing. Even if you don't follow the schedule, because like I've said, no 2 weeks are the same. At least you'll have it written down what needs to be done. And that way, if you're ever just like, well, I don't know what to do, you can look at it and be like, oh, that's right, I need to do this. This didn't get done the other day, so I can do that today. Definitely have somewhat of a schedule lined up, written out, whatever. And the biggest piece of advice I think that I could give is learn to do everything yourself. Don't rely on somebody else to do things. Even if you don't know how to do it, teach yourself how to do it. There's plenty of YouTube videos out there. Google can be your best friend. I'm talking about everything. Build your website from scratch. Learn how to edit photos. Learn how to write listings for products on your website. Everything, learn how to do it, because you will save yourself so much more money if you just do it yourself rather than paying somebody else to do it for you. And I know that may sound really overwhelming, but I've spent so many hours teaching myself how to do things. Like, I had no idea how to build a website from scratch prior to starting my own business. I had no idea how to do any of my tax things prior to starting a business. But if you teach yourself, some things you will have to pay, obviously things when it comes to legal advice and tax. Probably go see a professional and get some advice there. But for the most part, in the first few years, you're probably not going to need an admin person or an assistant or social media managers or anything like that. Just do it all yourself. It sucks for the most part sometimes, especially with social media. For me, I hate social media, so posting on that is difficult for me. I always forget to do it, but definitely push yourself to do as much as what you can, because even then, if things do happen and you can't afford to pay somebody, you will be able to fall back and do it yourself if you need to. Another piece of advice is don't quit your day job straight away. When I first started doing this, I really just wanted to quit my day job and focus on it full time, but I needed to make sure that I sort of set myself up to a point where if I wasn't getting enough income, then I was gonna be okay, kind of thing. I had no debt behind me, a bit of savings in the bank account, things like that. And I also made sure that I bought all of the really expensive things for the business prior to giving up a secure, consistent income. So as tempting as it is to quit your day job, hold off for as absolute long as possible, because you'll thank yourself in the long run for doing so. Something else to consider is when you're wanting to start your own business, make sure that you're doing something that not many other people are doing. For example, I wouldn't personally start a plant business right now if I hadn't already started. Well, here's a bit of a backstory. I've been selling plants for probably about 5 years now, but I've only sort of taken it off Facebook selling and Instagram selling and made it into a proper business with a website and all that sort of stuff in the last year and a half or so. But I've been selling plants for years, and it was a very different climate when I first started selling plants. The hype of them have definitely died off a bit. The whole world is just a completely different place right now. The cost of living and all of those sorts of things. People aren't buying materialistic items anymore, so plants aren't a priority when it comes to what people spend their money on. But you also don't want to be starting a business that's highly saturated. Starting a clothing business or starting a makeup business or starting a lawn mowing business, things like that. There are so many people doing it, which sucks because, don't get me wrong, I would love to have a clothing brand as well. But the truth of the matter is everyone else is doing it. So unless you've got a major following behind you and you're some sort of Instagram celebrity or something like that, and I don't mean this in a bad way because I don't know you at all, but there's probably not going to be anything special about your designs of clothing that people can't find similar things of somewhere else. In your mind, and I'm very guilty of this, you probably think that you make the best things that anyone's ever seen before in their lives. But, people don't always have the same opinion as you. Trust me. And to make a profit of selling clothes and stuff, typically you need to charge a lot more than going to Kmart or something, because you don't get to buy in mass quantities like a major company like Kmart gets to do, kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? What Kmart can buy for a 50 cents per shirt or whatever would cost you probably anywhere from $11 to $35 per shirt, depending on the quality of the shirt that you get too. When I originally started designing shirts, I was looking high and low for all different types of shirts. Found some really, really cheap ones, but the quality of them was awful. I ended up going for a little bit more of an expensive shirt, which I'm actually wearing now, because the quality of it is just so much better. But then you got to factor in the design, because I print on the designs myself. All up, it costs me about $36 per shirt to produce. So I need to sell them for about $50 to make a profit, to make it worth doing as well. But people will obviously go and buy cheaper clothing if they can. That's what I mean. Like, unless you have a major following, people aren't willing to pay $50 for a shirt, kind of thing. Anyway. Another piece of advice that I can give you is avoid unnecessary expenses. For example, initially, off the bat, you don't need a work phone. Just use your personal phone. It kind of sucks, don't get me wrong, but who can fork out like $2,000 or whatever it is for a new iPhone? It's not worth it initially. Obviously, you would prefer to have business and personal separate, but initially, starting off, you don't need two different phones. And another example is like you don't need a work vehicle, maybe, unless you're doing like some sort of construction where you need a ute or something and you have like a hatchback. Maybe that's a different story. But for me, I don't need another car right now. I don't need a work car. And just everything like that. Keep that in mind. You don't need to buy everything now. You don't need to have everything right now. Make do with what you already have. My microphone just died. But the last piece of advice that I'll give you is work at home if you can. It will greatly reduce the overhead costs that you'll have. And it goes hand in hand with the whole unnecessary spending thing. Like, really ask yourself, is it absolutely necessary that I have a shop front right now? Could I do it all online? Could I do it from home? Could I have like a sale in my driveway to sell the product that I'm trying to sell? Things like that. Try and think of ways around not spending money. All right, now let's move on very quickly to things they don't tell you prior to starting a business. First one, I've already mentioned it before, but shipping sucks. Shipping is so expensive. It can be very complicated. Australia Post is absolutely awful. They charge so much for shipping, so maybe look at somewhere else like Sendle or something like that. Maybe that's another thing that you can seek advice on if you need to. And if you're not selling things that are limited on where you can sell them, like quarantine states and stuff, definitely look at going weight-based shipping, I would recommend. Like I said, can't do it. But, yeah, shipping is a nightmare. Another thing they don't tell you is you're not going to make much money straight off the bat. And unless you already have a major following, customers are harder to find than you think they are. Some weeks you will have random customers putting orders through your website and it'll be like back-to-back orders and you're like, what's happening? But then the next week, you won't get any for a while. It's very up and down when you're first starting out. Again, I'm not an expert, like I haven't been doing this for too long, but in my experiences over the last year and a half, that's what's happening. That's what happens with me, is that it's very unpredictable. Customers come out of nowhere, but then you also do get the repeat customers that like come back, and if they're happy with your product, then they will just keep purchasing from you. Another thing to keep in the back of your mind is that sometimes your first idea may not work. This isn't the first time I've been on YouTube. I was on YouTube in 2013, and then I was on YouTube again, I think in 2022, and then I was on YouTube again in 2023, I think. Now I'm back on YouTube, and it's still not working. But this isn't the business side of things. It may not work the first time, so sometimes you need to go try something else and then come back and try again, or try something different. Your first thing may not always work. Another thing to keep in mind is that you're going to work more hours than a regular job. It doesn't really stop. Even if you're not physically working, you're always thinking about it. You're always thinking about what you can do next, how to improve it. But yeah, like I said the other day, customers will message you at like 11 p.m. at night. They don't really care. They just do what they want to do. And I guess it's your responsibility or obligation maybe to reply to them. That's how I look at it anyway. I want to make sure that they get the answers that they're after straight away, or as quick as possible. But that's just me. Other people probably have more boundaries than what I do. Another thing to remember is that you're not going to get it right every single time, and mistakes do happen. As long as you're learning from your mistakes, then I think it's okay to make mistakes. And unless you've done it before, you don't know what you're doing, you're figuring it out as you go, it's just not going to always fall into place. For me personally, every single thing is a struggle, and not one thing has come easy. So maybe you'll be like that, but most people also have more luck than me. So maybe things will work out a little bit better for you. I don't know. But the last little thing that I'll say is that not everyone is going to support you, and not everyone will understand what you're going through. A lot of people probably think, oh, you work for yourself, it must be amazing, you get to work whenever you want, blah, blah, blah. They only look at the really, really good things that come with it. They don't look at all the negative things, and they probably won't ever fully understand how hard it can be. And unless they've done it themselves, they're never going to fully understand what you're actually going through, because it's very stressful, both financially and mentally and physically. So make sure you've got like a pretty good support system around you. Thankfully, my mother is very supportive. I honestly probably wouldn't have my business if my mother wasn't so supportive. So yeah, keep that in mind. That's everything I have for you now. Unfortunately, I haven't had any sales this week, and I wanted to show you the packing process, but you know, hopefully overnight. Otherwise, who knows, I might have to do another video on just the packing side of things. I don't know. We'll see what tomorrow brings. Bye. So Sunday. This isn't necessarily how I wanted today to go. I really was looking forward to showing the process of packing orders and doing the reconciliation for the week. But I haven't had any orders this week. So I can't show you that. And I also haven't had any bills come out this week, and I haven't paid for anything this week. So, I mean, that's probably a good thing. But yeah, I would really like to show you the packing process and how you like do it through Shopify and then Australia Post, things like that. But at the end of the day, I believe everything happens for a reason, and this video is already very long. So I will probably just do a separate video on that whole process when things pick up again. But yeah, this video is already way too long. But yeah, unfortunately, it's not how I wanted to finish the video, but things happen. Life will go on. But yeah, I get to finish the video earlier, so that's pretty good as well, I suppose. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, a little behind the scenes look at what goes on with somebody who owns a small business. Even though there's much bigger small businesses out there than what I've got, I still have a pretty good idea of what goes on with most businesses, I suppose. But yeah, if you enjoyed it, click that like button, you know, subscribe, all of those things. Most of the content that I make is all plant related stuff, not business related stuff, but if you're into plants, stick around, and if you're already a subscriber, then thanks for watching. But yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.